Action-packed, fast-paced. It was awesome. Loved it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tardy to the Party, aka D3P. With this dynamic duo, usually talks the Holy Trinity, but forget them. We got Invincible, Season 2, the mid-season finale, which is very unfortunate. KP and I had no idea this was a mid-season finale. We thought we had more next week, but we got to take a break, I guess. So, we're going to have to find something else to review in the meantime, but...
Yeah,
future
I don't
talk.
know.
We'll figure it out. It's
Well,
cool.
I threw that monster monarch one at you, and then I watched it, and it's kind of more of a heavy drama than what I thought it was going to be. But anyways, we can get to it later.
We'll figure something out. But
Yeah,
KP, before we get into spoilers, oh yeah, I didn't even do the whole diatribe. I'm your boy Jsib. This is KP,
and I'm KP.
KP non-spoiler thoughts on the mid-season finale of season 2, Invincible.
Mid-season finale. uh, it, blah, 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 blah. Action-packed, fast-paced. It was awesome. Loved it. That's pretty much like all of it in a nutshell.
There was a
Yeah,
lot to this episode.
Yeah, the pacing of the episode was a lot. And I liked some character development out of a certain guy, so that was something.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of characters got some good character development this episode. Of course, Mark's mom. Eve's thrown in there a little bit. No Guardians this week. Of course, a certain somebody who showed up last week. I mean, Mark still
Good character development from the Maulers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Maulers too. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. There's some good development there.
There's man, this, like you said, very action-packed episode. This thing came out full swinging with the action and emotion, I would say. I think there was a cool parallel between two characters, which we can get into. But
I will say I'm glad
banger.
I'm glad that you had. I watched it last night. You just watched it, and that's very good because you brought up about the mom, and I kind of forgot about that because those parts were not like I've. The only reason I remembered the Maulers part was because it was funny. The mom, I don't, and shit. The federal agent.
Yeah, Donald too.
Donald, thank you. Yeah, that's the thing is what really sticks in this episode is what happens with our hero and his Faja. So, that's like what sticks the most of what happens because again, that kind of it's all set up for later, and I kind of keep forgetting about the plot line with his mom, and then almost forgot about Donald, forgot about Eve and Eve's whole thing. But yeah, it's again, it was so fast paced, it blew right by me.
Banger of an episode.
It was, it really was. It's definitely, I thought, the best one of the season so far.
I think so too. I think this is my.
So I guess it makes sense why they did do since they are choosing to do a mid-season finale, it makes sense.
But I think that probably ends our non-spoiler thoughts. There's a lot to this episode.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just a lot overall. I mean, I don't know if you wrote notes and you want to go through it like piece by piece, or if you just kind of want to generally talk about it.
I figure we just generally talk about this. Let's try a new approach.
So.
Oh yeah, spoiler warning going forward. If you haven't watched it yet, please give us a like and subscribe if you like what you saw, and you have watched it. It's a juicy.
God, I think I love the most about how Nolan or Omni Man, whatever you want to call him. I'm sure we'll get the Viltrumite name uh come next 4 episodes at some point. Because despite what happens at the end, I don't really see the character actually being done. At least I hope not.
I don't either.
Yeah, but I loved how they had his growth in this episode, but then also I kind of loved that he hated it. He hated being like basically having emotion and empathy and
Just
that's
going
really
against
the best.
all of his
That's just
Viltrumite traditions.
yeah, that's just kind of really the only thing to actually, I guess, say about it is really just that he developed empathy and kind of, is
Stabbed his old
willing.
family in the back.
Yeah, like and that's the other part that was great was that like he was choking out Mark, and he's like, why? He's like, why do I feel this way, and why do I care about these people? And Mark's like, yeah, this is how you were supposed to feel about Earth. And then he had nothing to say because he was like, well, you're right. But the problem is like, well, but Mark, you had to like that was how you beat him. So like you had to like make him realize it, and so he floats out in space and is all Mr. Sad Pants until he's
Depressy.
was was that a black hole that had a ring around it? Like
Yeah,
I didn't.
yeah, it was a black hole. So he was
Yeah.
basically about to commit. Well, I'm sorry, I can't say that on the tubes. He was gonna unlife
Oh.
himself, as I see some people put it, in the black hole. And yeah, just before he did, he saw the ship coming in and saved them. So, um, I really liked the parallel between that scene and the one that Deborah, Mark's mom, has, where she's basically walking on her own throughout, like through the streets, and eventually like ends up at the bridge and almost contemplates like jumping off. Just yeah, nice little artistic,
True. Yeah.
nice artistic touch there. I dude, when he finally convinces, well, first I liked how Mark is so conflicted because it is his dad, but he's obviously still angry. He didn't know whether he wanted to fucking punch him in the face or give him a hug, and then he gives him a hug, but then is still angry at him. But when Nolan finally convinces him to come back and at least let him see what he has to show him. When he first walks in, dude, and it's just with the bug, dude.
I know.
Oh man, just no warning to Mark or anything either. Just I have something to show you. It's like, is this what you have to show and tell me, Dad?
So outrageous and funny. And he's like, no, that's not why I brought you here. And
you have not a son, a brother. It'd be interesting to see how that fucking plays out because I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably gonna have to take him back to Earth, I guess, because everyone's fucking dead on this planet. And at the end of the episode, he basically was told to go back, whether he wants to obey those exact commands.
Yeah, they said, well, yeah, he told him, he's like, I'm dumping you back on Earth, and you can get that planet ready for us, or
yeah, basically get them to subdue by killing a few, or we'll come and
yeah. He said here's that line was actually kind of badass. The general's like, you can either kill a few hundred to get the point across and subdue them, or we can show up and kill millions. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like,
voiced by,
damn.
I'm pretty sure is Clancy Brown. I think the character's
Yeah,
name is.
it was Clancy Brown.
Was it General
General
Cruel?
something
something?
like that.
Invincible's
That's
General Zod. That's
right.
basically the
Yeah,
vibes I got. I was
pretty
like,
much.
oh, cool. We got a
Pretty
Zod in
much.
this universe too now.
Right.
I like some more Zod type characters. Which that also creates a really cool dynamic of, especially been already layered on this season of Mark going through, his arc of not wanting to be like his dad, and now he's almost gonna be forced to be like a Viltrumite like his dad.
Yeah, and especially like when they're in the fight, and he's like Nolan's just kind of pleading with him. He's like, "You don't get it." He's like, "If you don't fight like this, you're going to die." And I kind of was thinking we might get like, I don't know, stepped into that whole like he's gonna have to play with that black and white area of like, should he kill or not? And I thought he was maybe gonna finally get that chick, but he just hesitates and nope. So
Gets nearly gutted.
and then the guy that had his guts ripped out and then pinned up like a wall somehow survives that, and yeah, like flies out of the sky and drop kicks Nolan in the back and breaks his back, all fucking Bane on Batman style, I'm like, and then he just click. It's so ridiculous. I was like, okay, really, like.
I will say I wasn't really a fan of that character necessarily making a reappearance after he got gutted and pinned to a wall, but maybe. Next episode, do we get to see the backstory of how he got off that wall? Because that'd be nice.
Right.
But, I mean, I guess it's going to sound pathetic, but my cop-out for that was, well, I guess they established that with Alan last episode, that you can get completely fucking gutted and survived, I guess. Granted, Alan was still completely unconscious, but he's not a Viltrumite, so.
True.
Science.
Science.
Science, yeah.
Science, bruh. Oh man, so gosh, what else happens?
We had the arc with Donald, which was not where
sick.
thought it was quite going. There was a little wrinkle to that I was like, oh, interesting.
It was very well. It's all just interesting because he goes to talk to Deb, right?
Or, yeah, I think or who does he try to go talk to? Yeah, Deb.
Well,
his mom.
Mark's mom.
Yeah.
Is that Deb?
Yep.
So doesn't he go to talk to her for something, but then he ends up going to the ground zero of the old house, right, or something, or wherever. Oh,
yeah, ground zero where he died.
It was ground zero where he died, the safe house or whatever it was, and yeah, he like pulls the glasses out, and then and then he knows fucking Cecil's login and password, and like, because like they don't allow the playback to him, and he's just like that freaked the fuck out. It's just so interesting because he's the Terminator.
He's the Terminator.
And what I mean by that, people, is he stabs himself with a knife. And there's blood, so he's like, I liked it too, because he thinks he's human. He just goes, oh, he starts bleeding down his wrist. He just goes, oh, thank God. And then he looks at the knife, and the knife is like dented in, and I was like, oh, he's the Terminator. Like, he has a metallic exoskeleton. Like,
yeah, I was not expecting.
Who knows? I don't know. I still have the verdict out that, I don't know, possible clone, but probably not.
Well, it almost seems like he is a clone in a way, I guess. Well, I mean, unless I guess he is a robot, and he just, I don't know. I guess you could argue that skin all got burned off, and they just replaced his skin.
Maybe.
Gave him a new pair of glasses. See, I thought he was gonna be a clone, and then when he stabbed himself and was revealed as a robot, I was like, wait. not quite the
Mm,
technology I thought was used or was told was used to bring him back. So I don't know.
right.
This is what's great about watching a fucking comic book or superhero series for once that I know absolutely nothing about. It's great. I love
That's great. I love it.
it.
Mystery. Questions that need answering.
We also had the Mahler Bros. I loved this. If you want to go through their
Oh
if you want to go
my
through their stuff,
god.
I love their
Oh
stuff.
my god. Well, it was so fast, but it stuck with you so much because they were, once again, he's cloning himself, so there's two of them. And I just loved how they just kept on with it's the same running joke that's just so funny that this time he's like, I'm the original, and he just goes, no. And he's get up all two-faced, and he's like, I was there. You have my memories. And he's just like, for now, for the first time ever, we know the original. And then it cuts later, and he's treating him like he's an asshole to him. And he's treating him, he's like, oh, poor welding job. Obviously done by a clone. And
Hope
then
the
he's
next
like,
clone's better in the kitchen.
right, yeah, yeah. Makes them sandwiches and shit, and oh god. And then of course and you figured this was gonna happen, was that
Right.
the clone kills him, and then the clone will just clone himself, and it'll go back to being two of them.
Back to equality.
Right, exactly.
Back to
Guess we'll
supreme
never
balance.
know. Yeah.
I feel like that's almost everything that well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Talked about the brother.
I don't remember Adam Eve. Oh, that's right.
Oh,
She fights the fucking guy. That's right.
yeah, the
Can't
cannon
remember his
arm
name.
guy. Mr.
Yeah.
Cannon Arm. Looks like he steals an old technology of robots from the old Guardians Tower. Puts in his gun, but Eve is
Right.
on a absolute rampage and just is toying with this bitch the whole time, just taking out frustration on this boy. They
Yeah.
end up on the bridge. I thought this was actually, while in the midst of all the other stuff that was going on in this episode, this seemed like another layer that didn't need to be put in there. I thought it was still an interesting layer for her as a character to start basically have a slip up and allow other people to be endangered because she is so blinded by her anger right now, and probably caused a couple to potentially die by crashing off the bridge because of antics. Also, I will say,
Right.
when the way she finished him off, well, granted she was toying with him, I answered my fucking question, but I was just like, why? You could have done that way earlier. I would have just started that from the beginning when he tried shooting and just put a bubble around the gun. Bang.
Well, right, but she was like,
He was playing with her food, and that's what you get. That's why mom and dad say don't play with your
yeah,
fucking food.
her food.
Now I think that rounds everything up, at least of all of the big
Pretty
stuff.
sure that's everything. I mean, yeah. Interesting to see how it plays out with the Viltrumites dumping Mark back on Earth, and then
I
Mark will have
wonder.
to
I wonder if
it's
maybe
gonna be
that's where the
very
multiverse
interesting.
will maybe come into play. That got introduced
Like,
for some reason, but we also still have that other villain too.
right, yeah.
So my only thing I can think of is maybe he tries to go to other universes to get help from other marks.
Maybe.
Because if a whole army shows up, he's fucked. I'm sorry, if they have him beat a whole army, I'll probably still think it's pretty fucking badass, alright? But just, it doesn't make sense.
I was gonna say, like, the problem with it is that, like, Mark is so, like, obviously, since he's half human, he's weaker than the Viltrumites. Or he's not. I don't really understand it. I mean,
He's still so young, I don't know if we actually really know that yet still, because he just got his powers, I mean, fairly recently too. I mean, that was at the very beginning of the series, which timeline would that be? Like, he's had him for maybe a year, if that?
I think so, a year.
Well, he's still got time to grow, but and I guess it also
True.
depends on how long it takes for them to show up. So I guess it never gave him a time frame. It could be like 5-10 years for all we.
Right.
Give him plenty of time to train. Those fuckers. I didn't like how they teased us with the Nolan and Mark training session. I was like, oh yeah, this is about to be fucking hot. And then they show up. I was like, no.
Right. Like I was kind of shocked that was the pacing this went at. But at the same time, whatever, because we got a great episode still out of it. But yeah, I kind of figured like we'd have a little bit to have Mark and Nolan kind of maybe be able to rekindle shit if they could train together. But yeah, no, just kind of had no time for that, and three badasses show up.
Um, I think this might be the first episode that I mean, if you're ready to get into ratings, this might be the first niner.
I was gonna say, yeah, 9.
But I'm gonna give it a 9-1. Just to be cheeky, you son of a bitch.
This is not the Price is Right. Like, this is literally unnecessary. And again, like, how do you define a 0.1? Like, I don't know. Fuck it.
You know what's funny, KP?
You can't define it.
What's funny, KP, is we've actually been streaming on my Twitch this whole time.
And you didn't even update your fucking thing correctly. Like, I just realized
because I didn't mean to hit streaming. I meant to hit recording. So now I'm gonna have to stop this and then save this video as the stream. Then I can edit it. So yeah, sorry, normal viewers. But KP, speaking of streaming, where can the people find you?
Where you're at right now, baby. Twitch.tv. KevinNation _ and Kevin Politis for other socials, and at PolitusK for Twitter. I need to update that.
I need to
update that. But I think I think that billionaire bastard makes us pay to do that now, so I don't want to do it. I'm cheap.
Yeah.
Because I'm just, I just don't want to.
I find it hilarious.
God.
Yeah, if you are watching on, you obviously know. It's Twitch.
Right. If you're watching live right now, if you're there, go follow his channel and my channel.
And you can also find me on Twitter, aka X gonna give it to you at Jsib20. If you like the video, please give us a like and subscribe. It helps us very, very much as the tiny creators we are. We're trying at least to get small creator and then so we appreciate it very, very much. So until next time, I'm your boy Jsib.
And I'm KP.
See ya later.